you look at the world differently than you ever have. You look at other people differently, and in a good way, in a really good way.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose U.
Okay, so I'm going to throw this out there today and see if you're interested in this. I've told you many times over the past several years how I have gotten so much out of an overnight trip or traveling or going somewhere by myself and going really, really deep. And when I come out of it, I have figured out so much about my life, and I just feel so much better about it. And it happens almost every time I do that. So as you probably know, I am a big fan of, longtime fan of the Grateful Dead and all the, iterations that came after the Grateful Dead, Further, The Dead, Dead and Company now. And they are going to be coming to Las Vegas in the spring of 2025. I've already bought a bunch of tickets, but an idea came to me. I'm thinking, like, you and I have never really met one-on-one, face-to-face, in person. So I was thinking, what about if I pick one of the dates in the spring of 2025 in Las Vegas, and we have, I don't know, like a little informal meetup. I'm definitely going to the shows, and I'm going to be just doing whatever I want. And I use this as not only a little trip to enjoy the music, but to really examine my life, go deep, use the medicine when needed, and just have a really, really good time. So what about you? Is it something that you've been thinking about for a while, but you just haven't really done it? You haven't had a place to go. You really don't know what to do, how to do it. Well, I can assure you that going to see the Dead at the Sphere. Have you been to the Sphere? Have you heard about the Sphere, this place in Las Vegas that is probably one of the coolest places I've ever seen a musical production. You can't even describe what it's like. Like, if I show you a video, or if I try to describe here what it's like, I couldn't do it justice. It's impossible. So this might be the time for you to try something like this. I remember years ago, I was doing a different podcast. It was more about just lifestyle, and I was running a race in San Francisco, Beta Breakers. It's something I did every single year. It's like a really unique, crazy race. People do it in costumes. It's not necessarily, you don't do it for time necessarily. You can walk it. It doesn't matter. And I threw it out there to my audience, to my followers back then. This is quite some time ago. And I remember I had a woman from Australia. A woman from Australia said she's going to come and join this little meetup. And we had a great time. We had a few other people. It was not a large group, but we had dinner together. We did the race together. It was really a lot of fun. So I'm thinking, many years later now, could this possibly work for Dead and Company at the Sphere? You don't necessarily have to know anything about the music. You can actually go in cold, not knowing the music at all, and have the time of your life. I guarantee that. There's zero question in my mind. But couple that with a potential meetup with me and, some other followers that are, we're all kind of in the same situation. I haven't flushed it out yet. I really don't know how I would do it, but if enough people are interested, I would seriously consider doing it. And we'd have a blast. And it wouldn't take too much of your time. You can enjoy what's there. You can enjoy Las Vegas, of course. But we would make a date somehow, like on the day of the show. We would meet up beforehand, potentially have dinner together. Very informal place. Head over to the venue, and then just have a fantastic time. I mean, I don't know. Is this far out there? Is it crazy? Is it something that you think could never work, or do you think it's something that possibly could work? Like I said, you might have remembered my story. It was maybe 2 years ago. I was going to a show by myself. I did a nice microdose of some plant medicine. Got there super early. Sat down by myself. Had my journal, and I was able to think about my life so deeply there's some things that came out of that. Now, this is 2 years plus now. There's some things that came out of that that I will never forget. The experience was just unbelievable. I did create it myself. Most people that were there, they got there sitting down, they're talking, they're, getting excited for the show, and that's good. But on the other hand, I see things a little bit differently, and I wanted to utilize that time to sit down, catch the aura of the show, get the vibration going, and just feel the depth and the thinking and coming to realizations about my life that were actually very, very deep. But again, to this day, I won't forget them, and I am forever appreciative for my life due to what I learned before that show. Now, we all have good days, we have bad days. These days with, the microdosing journey, I would say almost every single day is a really, really good day. The depression and the anxiety are pretty much totally gone. But there are sometimes some outside stimuli, that things that happen in our lives that can, bring us down and think like, hey, why did that person just do that to me? That's ridiculous. And I've had some of these things very recently, but because of the plant medicine, I'm able to handle them so much better than I ever would have been able to at any other time in my life. I guarantee that. Like I said, the anxiety is totally gone. I don't get anxious anymore. Now, again, I might have a fight or flight response to an event that's stressing me out or weird or takes place, but it's short-lived, because the fight or flight sympathetic mode from the autonomic nervous system is not meant to be long-lasting. It's meant to give blood to your muscles, get your heart rate going, so you can either escape, fight, or figure out a way to get out of a situation that you're in, and that's the fight or flight mode. But when you're in that mode 24/7 or close to it, that's going to wreak havoc on your body, and it's going to wear your body out, cause stresses to different organs and parts of your body that are they're gonna have some big problems. So you never ever want to be in that fight or flight mode, or the sympathetic mode of the autonomic nervous system. You never want to be in that very long, only to get you out of a problem, and then get back into the parasympathetic mode, which is more like a more relaxed mode that you should be in all the time. So again, I've learned so much of this just from sitting down with myself and my journal and figuring out my life. And I wonder how many people really do that. I wonder everybody is so busy these days, and everybody is, you're traveling, you're going somewhere, you're going to parties, you're hanging with friends, you're, hanging with family members. It's life is busy. But do you ever really take the time to stop, shut it all down, shut the noise out, think deeply, like, why are you even in this situation? Why do you feel the way you do? What are you going to do to make it better and get out of it? Sometimes it takes a lot of deep thought. And that's why using this plant medicine is nothing like using an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety. You can use an SSRI or, anti-anxiety agent, take it in the morning and go about your day. And you don't have to think about it really. It just does the work for you. But it's not going to do the work 100%, and it's also not going to be long lasting. It's only while you've got the medicine in your bloodstream or, metabolizing, and then it's done and you're gone. As opposed to the plant medicine that we talk about here, it rewires the brain. You look at the world differently than you ever have. You look at other people differently, and in a good way, in a really good way. But an SSRI or, pharmaceutical is never going to do that for you. Never in a million years. It just won't do that. That's why I've taken so many opportunities to be by myself. And maybe I'm, more of an introvert than many people. Maybe a lot of people they always have to be with somebody else, and always got to be action. Always have to have the TV on. You always got to be watching a sporting event. Always got to be doing something. I think I'm very different than that. I don't always have to be doing something. I just kick back and think. And like I said, go deep. And I'm not afraid to think about my life and also admit things that maybe I didn't do the right way or the way I think I should have, but now how can I improve it? And if I do improve it, or if I'm working on this journey, how will the results be? What will the results be? How will my life be different or better? I'm frequently thinking about these things. And again, I love to do it if I'm traveling by myself, or, like I said at the beginning of this episode, traveling to an event by myself and plan to go deep into thought. And again, that comes full circle to how cool would it be to have a meetup? It would be great. Now, of course, if this does work, I'm not sure if it will, but if enough people have, interest in this, we can talk about it further. But it'll be fun, and we'll be doing some work. But the work you'll be doing is on your own. We're not going to have a session where we're just deep in thought, because I think it's best to do that alone anyway. But we'll definitely have some time or times together that we can just kind of hang out and get to meet each other. I think it might be cool. But the main reason I want to do this is because I think this is an event that you don't want to miss. These guys are not getting any younger. It's, I would say, out of decades and decades of me seeing shows like this in musical concerts and things like that, this is an experience that you just can't even imagine. And that's why I'm coming back this year to do it, next year, 2025. That's why I'm coming back next year to do it. And because I wouldn't be paying money for more tickets if I didn't think it was worth it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And I've done a pretty good amount of things, but it's just something that I think will be, you'll remember this for the rest of your life. There's zero question in my mind. So anyway, I want to throw it out there. It might seem odd. It might seem crazy. No, I don't want to meet Dr. Dave. I like listening or watching to his shows, but I don't have any interest in meeting him. Well, that could be, and that's fine. My feelings aren't hurt. I don't take offense if nobody wants to do this. On the other hand, if a bunch of you are enough want to do it, we'll talk further. But in the meantime, whatever you're doing, whether you want to do this or not, whatever you're doing, take what I said seriously about thinking really deeply and doing things by yourself. Because again, when life gets so busy and our schedules are so full and we just go throughout the day and from one thing to the next, and you don't have time for yourself to really think deeply, I think that could be a problem. I think it could be, my opinion, but I've done it both ways, and there's no question in my mind that the way I just explained is so much more powerful. No question about it. Okay, again, just shoot me a message, share in the comments, whatever you want. And by the way, if you like what you're hearing on these episodes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for sure. But if you're interested, get a message to me somehow. And the best way is if you are watching this on YouTube, which is the only platform I think Spotify you can do it as well. You can leave comments. On Apple Podcasts, unfortunately, you can't leave comments, so that's very difficult. You certainly can go in and rate my show and give me a review, but you can't really leave comments on an episode in particular. It's a shame, because if Apple changed that, I think that would be a really good thing. But on YouTube, it's very easy to leave comments, and I see everything. So again, first time ever throwing this out there. We'll see how it goes, and we'll take it from there. Until next time, I am Dr. Dave, Microdose U, brand new episode every Wednesday and every Friday. Love you, and talk to you soon.